in December of last year, you were responding to a quote-unquote pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan. Is that right?
Yes. SARS-like virus, no new pneumonia in Wuhan.
Okay.
So I write this 5-prompt in 19th January that others show. So based on my intelligence, my experience, and my knowledge in this field, that's the thing I write out. I reviewed actually, because it's not made up by me and it's verified already. First, from December 31, when I first time get into the secret investigation, I already got the first-hand information to tell me that there are over 40 cases in Wuhan, more than 27 claimed by the government. Remember, this is confirmed cases. And 1/3 of these patients has no history in the seafood market. So that's why they tell 27. And also there were already SARS-CoV-2 virus genome detected. Although you don't know the name, you know this is a new virus, but the genome is detected in Wuhan. But government don't allow them to report it. And also, there were family cluster happen that shows clearly this is human-to-human transmission.
Okay, so no wet markets, no animal species were involved. You're certain that that's not what happened.
For the wild animal, it is like Wuhan government insists that. China government insists that this one comes from the seafood market, from the wild animal. But before 1st January, they clean from 1st January, they clean the market. Before that, the government collected 33 environmental samples from that market without the real expert from overseas, from Hong Kong. No, they are not allowed to do that. So basically, government brings some people there to collect the samples. Only one of them is positive. The positive one without animal evidence inside. It's just water. So you can imagine how could they tell you this has to be an animal host transmitted virus without evidence, and then they immediately clean the market. Also, at that time, important thing is China government put the confidential guidance for doctors to diagnose this pneumonia. So in the 3 criteria, all the 3 has to be matched at the same time, including the symptoms. Has to be fever, cough, this kind of symptom. Has to have the image result, like the lung X-ray or lung CT. And then has to have of course, they have to get the positive result. The last thing is they have to have the history in the seafood market. So this is a very strict way. You have to have this one. That means they deny the human-to-human transmission. They include those cases. And this is purposely done by the government.
Okay, so they ignored all the other cases because they didn't fit those criterias, which meant the count was very low, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, and also not only beginning, this even until mid-January, I review it, they don't admit so many patients, right? They only admit 60 cases before I review it. At that time, no protection among the medical staffs in the hospital faced to this unconfirmed but highly suspicious patient. Basically, this patient match maybe all the criteria, and also they are excluded for other pathogens like influenza, TB, all these things. They only need to get final diagnosed, but government is the one who is responsible to announce the result. The hospital is not allowed to handle this test. So the result is purposely postponed by government. The medical staffs are scared because they see the pneumonia is not as government said. And they are scared because government doesn't allow them to discuss about it. So this one gave a big potential, public health risk. That's why I said without control, there will be big outbreak because Wuhan is the biggest transportation hub in the world.
Okay, and so they admitted 60 cases. How many cases do you think were actually there at the time of COVID?
You may never know the real cases because the data is manipulated, as I said, first from the way they diagnose it, and then from the way they admit it. And also later they have from my intelligence, they have many other ways. Basically, government said they don't want so many cases, so people down there use different way to handle the number of cases. But what I can tell you is, even our government, Chinese Communist Party government, has to admit it to 196 cases within 4 hours after I deliver the message out, because they realized someone pointed it out from inside. And also, the next morning, they just announced that patients come out of Wuhan in north cities, in south cities. Also, they put it to the SARS-CoV-2 level from the common disease level to the SARS level as an infectious disease issued by Chairman Xi.
Okay, so they changed their story after you came public.
Yeah, exactly.
On that January
and the same
YouTube.
day after, the same day after I reviewed, the next day after I reviewed, they also admit human-to-human transmission.
Okay.
All has done on 20th January, and 3 days later, lockdown Wuhan.
So if you hadn't have spoken to that YouTuber, they might have never admitted there was a human-to-human, and there might not have been a lockdown, which could have meant the virus spread even more.
They don't want, at least during the Chinese New Year time, they don't want people to know it. And during Chinese New Year time, that means from mid-January to even early February, it's the biggest transportation in the world. You know, Chinese people all across, like Wuhan is the center, is the hub. They go around Wuhan and go all over China and go to all over the world.
Right, yeah.
So that's really disaster.